We're gonna get a little spicy today, and I'm calling out some coaches, specifically archery coaches. So if you have an archery coach out there, you know an archery coach, you're an archery coach, or if you know of somebody who's thinking about being an archery coach, send them this video and let them know I'm calling them out.
Kaminski YouTube channel.
So before we fly off the handle here in this video, I want to take time to thank Ryan for sending me a couple of designs for some new shirts. I will have links in the description below and a card at the top up there for you to check out in case you're interested in checking out the apparel I have to offer. The new designs are awesome. I enjoy them thoroughly because I definitely am a backyard champion as well as a string walker. So, got some new options, new things for you to check out. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna get right into getting a bit spicy on the channel today. So this is something that I have been wanting to talk about for a very long time. This is something that I've always scratched my head and been more confused than I can possibly convey in a video. And it's not just me. It's many people, I believe, especially people who are very unfamiliar with archery as a whole. Those who have been successful in other sports or coaches in other sports really look at us in archery a bit befuddled, very confused, and for sure are shaking their heads. Why don't coaches shoot more? I don't know. As an archer, how can I trust somebody who can't display to me what they want me to do with or without a bow? I have respect for people who want to be great coaches. I have respect for people who are doing their best. I have huge respect for people who put in effort and give it an opportunity to happen, meaning learning how to shoot, putting in some time and giving a bit of their energy towards developing themselves as an archer. I have a lot of respect for that. I don't have a lot of respect for those that don't and claim to profess a right way to do things. Now, there's a difference between an advocate and a coach, in my opinion. Somebody who is not necessarily an advisor, because I believe they should be really well versed in what they're doing. Maybe I'm not sure about the right term there, but I don't understand how coaches can call themselves a coach when they can't do what they're professing. I'm not saying that they're not national champions, Olympic champions, anything, any level of success in the means of a competition. What I'm talking about is having the competency, the body awareness, the ability to even just display what they are wanting. To put a bit of context and a bit of it into an example. When somebody is, for example, talking about how to anchor properly, they better know how to anchor properly. Because if you're saying, I want you to be very solid in your anchor and bury it right here, bone to bone underneath your jaw, I know what you're talking about because I can see it. But if I see, I want you to anchor really solidly, bone to bone, right under your jaw, I'm like, you're not even under your jaw. Or I want you to anchor properly. I'm like, what's going on with the rest of your form? Why are you doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing normally? You're displaying to me how to anchor properly, but you have your back arched, you have your alignment broke, you got a lot of things going wrong because you've not done it yourself. I think that we need some people in it that know what they're doing to a certain degree to build trust, to be understood by people, to be believed as authorities with a lot of confidence. Like that's, in my opinion, that's how it should work. We do a terrible job as a whole, as an industry. Not even just coaching, but I'm not going to get into the industry part of the things. We're talking about coaching. There are reasons that I just don't understand, that people don't spend the time to do what they're trying to do, even a small amount, with a stretch band, with a light bow, with a real bow, in their backyard, at the range, at tournaments. Like, how can you tell somebody how to deal with tournament pressure when you've never put yourself in the situation to even try to experience it? How can you convey it? Let alone, how can you believe that your students are going to be the ones that are going to trust you, believe in you, and hear you, and be like, yeah, that person knows what they're talking about. Like, do more, try more, like, put in some effort. Give it a go. Be vulnerable. Put yourself out there and try the things. Try to understand what it's like to actually shoot a bow. How to go through learning how to shoot a method that is unfamiliar to you. If you're learning the MTS system, you're learning Coach Lee's method, whatever, put it to use. Try to figure it out. You're a linear shot style person? Great. Shoot it. Figure it out. You're a compound coach? You better be shooting some compound archery with every single style of release. A punch, and a hinge. A punch, maybe button, and a hinge. Whatever. I don't care. Try it. You will learn so much more as a coach. I don't want this to be a hate video. I don't want to hate on coaches. I want you to understand that you will learn so much as a coach trying to shoot and trying to control yourself. You'll learn so much more in a way to convey the message to somebody than you would never ever have otherwise. How do you think I can explain things to people and say stuff to them through here, a camera lens across the world, and I can't tell you how many comments come in that say, I've been going to a coach for a decade and they've never said these things. I don't understand. I have developed and grown so much in the last 6-8 months just because I've been watching some videos on YouTube. It's like, that's ridiculous. I don't think I'm that special. I think that not enough people have done it and tried to experience it and problem solved, come up with their own solutions and methods, or genuinely listened to others explain things and pick up little key nuances on how to apply things. Because everybody's different. Everybody's a different learner. Some are tactile, some are visual, some are auditory, some are whatever. Very different people. You got to learn how to meet them. You got to learn how to get to their stage, be on their level, and communicate them in a way that they understand. And if you haven't done it yourself and you're just saying, well, the textbook says this. Okay, how do you get there? The point is, how as a sport, as a physical activity, as an athletic event, can we be taken more seriously? Can give more for, people to understand and to grasp, to benefit from, to develop as their own, human first and foremost, and then archer second. How can you convey things to them when you can't do it yourself? You got to learn how to do it. You got to at least try, and then you can at least be honest with people. Like, there's certain things that I can't do that my competitors could do, and I've talked to them about it and asked them, what's up? How do you do it? And they're like, well, I just do this. I'm like, okay, what does it feel like? I do this. Okay, my body doesn't listen. It won't do that. I have a limitation, but I now know what they do and how they do it. So now when I find somebody that has that ability, I can at least give them a nugget, a little bit of something that'll take them to the next level. But I have a baseline understanding of, like, not just what something looks like, not just what the textbook says, and not just what, the internet believes or whatever, but it's like, no, this actually works. The way that you aim, the way that you try to shoot in the wind, the way that you try to deal with form, the way that you try to deal with soreness, the way that you try to deal with finger calluses, the way that you try to deal with a knock blowing up and it exploding and damaging your arm from a horrible bruise from the string raking across it. How do you deal with target panic? How do you deal with tournament pressure? How do you deal with insert anything? If you haven't done it, how can you profess it? You look at other sports, you look at basketball coaches, football coaches, somebody, they were at least proficient enough in some sort of way at some sort of either club level, high school level, college level, something, that they have at least understand the game enough to meet their subordinates, the athletes they're coaching, on a level that they can have this camaraderie and understanding amongst each other because they have all done it at some point in time, some way, shape, or form. Now, there are anomalies. There are people who have not done the sport but have put themselves in a position because of research, data collection, statistical analysis, strategical analysis, you name it. They are experts in specific particular ways. And I think we do have that in some ways in archery. Generally, they're the mental type coaches, they're technical advisors, things like that. People who are just so data driven and interested in getting to know more things. But that'll only take you so far. Same thing in those other sports. That'll only take you so far. How can I watch a coach who I hired and paid to coach me teach me how to get into alignment, and they can't do it themselves? They're just like, you just got to really get into alignment. And when you let go of the shot, you just got to make sure you have a good, strong follow through. It's like, okay, I'll try. I don't know. It's something that's been bothering me. It's also something that I've discussed with, I can't tell you how many people, some people that are very, very close to me, my wife specifically. It's just like, what are we doing as a sport, as a whole? We're not being very good ambassadors. We're not being very good representatives. We're not being very good coaches because we can't even do it ourselves. If you can't do it yourself, how can you expect somebody who is paying you to learn the information to receive it in a manner that is good for them? You got to do it yourself. You have to be at least some level of proficiency or ability, and at minimum have experienced it and experiences that you can relate to, that you can convey to your student, and then that you can genuinely meet them on a level that they can understand and respect. And then that way you can have this relationship together, and you can, actually develop the archer. Some of the best coaches that I've ever worked with, some of the best advisors, some of the best, people that I respect the most, they're not the highest scoring people in the world. They're not world record holders or Olympic champions. They know their stuff, but most importantly, they're humble. They recognize their faults. They say, you know what? I tried. I understood a good portion of what I was supposed to do, but this is my holdback. Target panic, self-doubt, a mental game, physically it hurts or whatever. Insert reason. And it's like, hey, at least I respect that. I get it. I can relate to that because I'm also struggling with that too. So maybe I won't pick your brain on that particular thing. Maybe that person has learned a lot about it, but it just didn't work for them. And they have some insights that they can share. But that's the important part. Insights from experience. And at minimum, they stay in their lane, they stay in their zone. And I trust that because they're not lying to me. They're also not lying to themselves. So, I don't know. It's something that I wanted to say, something that I've wanted to frame in a way that hopefully will change a bit of the community out there. It's just not, it isn't ideal. It's not something to be proud of. We gotta have people who know what they're doing. Now, if your coach out there is shaking their head and scratching their head, thinking the same thing that I am, like, what the heck is going on out there? Or there's not really possibly people out there who don't know how to shoot who are coaches. I know level 4 coaches who have never shot a single arrow in their life. It was a business thing for them to learn how to coach archery. Might work for camp, but you're not a coach. At least not in the sense to where I would respect it. I think you gotta own it, and owning that is putting yourself out there and trying it. Now, if your students are kicking your butt on the range, great. That means you're doing a good job. But if they're seeing you out there struggling at trying to get into alignment, at least they'll have some respect for you. At least I would.